Hi, welcome to In the Kitchen with Just Keep Rowling. I'm Keighty.
I'm Ellen.
And we are the voices of the Just Keep Rowling podcast, a Harry Potter book and movie compare and contrast podcast.
Every single week we release a new episode that focuses on one book chapter and the corresponding film scenes.
And now we are rolling out our new...
You did a thing.
I did a thing. Our new cooking show where we dive into recipes for things that you may have heard mentioned in the book.
This one in particular is mentioned in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
After Harry is stuck doing detention with Lockhart, he goes to dinner and rather dejectedly eats his shepherd's pie.
I love shepherd's pie. It's
She's made this for me before. It's delicious.
It's possibly my
You guys
favorite
are going to
thing
have to try it.
So we start off and we have potatoes, onion, garlic, beef broth, corn, carrots, and peas, some butter. We've got some Italian seasoning, onion and garlic powder, some more garlic.
Can never have enough garlic.
Never have enough garlic. And my favorite thing in the world, Worcestershire sauce.
Can never have enough Worcestershire sauce.
Love Worcestershire
Which I like to call Worcestershire sauce. But I'm weird. If you listen to our podcast, you already know that.
You're not weird at all. Yeah, you are.
A little bit. Or a
So.
lot. We prepped most of it, but we're going to go through and just show you some techniques as we go along.
So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and prep the potatoes.
We already started boiling the water, so that is
did.
good to go.
Mm-hmm. Always want to watch your fingers because missing digits are not fun.
And this is a very sharp knife.
It is.
The potato's like butter right now. Like butter.
Okay, so we've got our potatoes. We're going to put those in a pot of salted boiling water. Just until fork tender. Give or take,
20 minutes?
20 minutes, something like that.
While she's doing that, I'm going to show you my fun little trick for onion slicing. So I have already cut off the top and peeled it. And I like to just cut into the onion. Pretty thin slices because neither one of us are a big fan of very large chunky onions. If you are, then by all means, you don't have to cut your onions as thin. I go about halfway and then I turn to the other side and repeat. Oh, this is a potent onion. I'm not crying.
Are you just thinking about Dobby again?
I'm thinking about Dobby. I'm not over it.
That's what I think about too.
All right. Now that I've done that, I can come through and just slice the other way. And it will already give me some little bits. I'll have to go in and chop them again, but it's just a great start in dicing your onion. We're only going to use about half of this. That is a lot of onion.
It's a rather big onion.
It was the smallest one we could find.
Did you go shopping in Hagrid's garden?
Apparently.
Must have.
He's using an engorgement charm on the onions. Alright, I suppose I can let you have your knife back so you can finish up that carrot.
I mean, technically it's your knife, so.
Actually, it's Len's knife. It's my husband's knife.
So, if we're being honest, we are using frozen peas and corn, but we are chopping up fresh carrots. You can use frozen for all of it, or you can use fresh for all of it. It's entirely up to you. Using fresh carrots, it does take a little bit longer for the carrots to cook.
But it maintains that crispness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you use frozen carrots, they'll end up pretty mushy in the end. Whereas fresh carrots, you'll keep that bit of a bite to it. Obviously, you don't want them crunchy, but it's nice when they have a little bit more texture.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the last trick that I'm going to show you is my little garlic trick. I just chop off the ends and roll it in my hands, and the skin pretty much just pops right off. I also have this fun little thing. I have no idea where I got it, but it's my favorite garlic chopper because I don't trust myself cutting little things in very small pieces with sharp knives. So I bought this little thing, like my little mini garlic car, and all I have to do is elbow Keighty in the boob. We're just gonna use my towel. The counter's wet. I'm gonna use my towel. My Gryffindor towel. Whee! I'm gonna use my towel so that it'll actually chop. But there's little blades in there that chop the garlic up for me. And then it opens up in the middle too. And we got garlic.
All the garlic.
So
Lovely.
it's like 2 tricks in one.
It's very lovely.
All right, everything is prepped. What do we do next?
Next, we are going to take the garlic and take it out of there.
All right, I'll do this.
Just so that we have it. Next, we go over to the stove.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to start off with some extra virgin olive oil into a medium hot pan. About a tablespoon or so, if you want to be technical. And that's going to heat up a bit. And once this heats up, we're going to add our onions. And like I said, small to medium sized onion, chop it up. Okay, so we have heated our olive oil in the pan, and now we're adding our onions. And we're just going to saute them real good. Keep them moving around.
Nobody wants the burned onion.
Nobody does. It smells good. Again, I don't like onions, but I like the smell of them.
Well, you said you were fine with them as long as they're not crunchy.
Yeah, they just need to be cooked.
That's why we're cooking them.
Yes. I respect the onion because you need it for flavor. You have to have onion for flavor. But I just don't want to crunch into them. Okay, so cook these down a bit. We're going to add our garlic. And this was 2 cloves of garlic. You can never have too much garlic, so we're going to dig all that out. Like I said, you want to cook down the onion, cook down the garlic, and then we'll add the carrots because those take the longest to cook, generally.
Being that they were freshly chopped, not frozen.
Yeah. If you use frozen, generally you can add the carrots with all the rest of the vegetables too. But when you're using fresh, you gotta go ahead and put them in pretty early. There we go. Okay.
How are the potatoes? They're done?
The potatoes, yes. Let me check the potatoes while this is cooking. And those are done. Those are fork tender. So you'll take those. We'll strain those out and we'll whip them up. Next, we're going to take our meat mixture, and what we have here is about a half pound of ground beef and a pound of lamb. And shepherd's pie is generally made with all lamb, whereas cottage pie is made with ground beef. So we're somewhere in the middle, like a suburb pie.
We're like 2/3
Yeah.
shepherd's pie. It was all of the lamb I could find.
So you're just going to add that to your pan, and you're going to brown the meat. Add some salt and some pepper. As usual, that's always to taste. And I like to use about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. Okay, so we have our meat is nice and brown, along with, again, our carrots, our onions, our garlic. We're going to add our peas, and like I said before, these are just frozen peas, because who the hell wants to shell a bunch of peas? Nobody.
I didn't.
Yeah.
We used about a cup of them.
Yeah. And then we've got, again, some frozen corn. Because again, who the hell wants to cut corn off the cob?
Blue Apron's made me do that before. It's unnecessary.
So, okay, so we've got our veggies. That's got some great color to it. I'm loving this. And then my favorite part of all time, this lovely little cup, is Worcestershire sauce.
And we know that's not going to be enough.
That is not going to be enough. We start with two tablespoons. Mama adds a little more. And the smell, like, I wish you guys could smell it, because the smell that comes off of this is just
divine.
It's incredible. And then to this we'll add a cup of beef broth. And that's a cup, again, you start with a cup. If you need more, because what we're doing is we're cooking it down so that it cooks the veggies for the most part, especially the carrots, because like I said, those are fresh. Those need to be cooked down a bit. And we're going to just essentially boil this to cook down the liquid before we transfer it to our casserole dish. This will take about 10 minutes, medium-high heat. Usually, you want to get it to a boil. It'll cook down pretty fast.
I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but we actually had 4 decent-sized potatoes that we chopped up to do the mashed potatoes. And while Keighty is keeping an eye on the filling for the shepherd's pie, I am going to mash these up using my little hand blender. But I like to sort of stir with the spoon first. We are using, to start, 3/4 a cup of milk, some butter.
That's what, 3
3
tablespoons butter?
And then this is a blend of garlic and onion salt powder, as well as salt and pepper to taste. I always put some in to start and then taste it and add more usually.
Mm-hmm. The better you salt your water, the less salt you'll have to use afterwards.
I also do a lot more pepper than I do salt. To Keighty's chagrin. We want to make sure these are nice and creamy because Keighty's actually going to pipe them on top of the shepherd's pie. Mm-hmm. And it's going to look gorgeous.
I'm going to mix my filling real quick.
Come take a look at this when you get a chance to make sure they're creamy enough.
Let's take a look. Those look lovely.
Can you pipe with that?
Lovely. I think maybe a little bit more milk.
I will stir you drizzle.
Just a tiny. There we go. That should be good.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it.
All right. I am going to let you take over so that you can make these taste how you want them.
Okay. Just going to grab the ones off the side here. Okay. Let's try that out, shall we?
All right. Give that a taste test.
I'm thinking a little more salt.
Anything else?
And a little more pepper.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work, guys. Okay. Let's mix this up again.
I can do that if you want to go check and see how your filling's doing.
Yep, let me check on the fillings.
I declare that perfect. While Keighty is finishing up the filling part, I'm just going to give this baking dish a spray with some cooking spray.
This looks freaking perfect.
Oh, good. I've got the baking dish ready for you, and I will load up the mashed potatoes as well. So this is a pastry bag with a nice big star tip. I always use a tall cup to stretch it over. It opens it up for you. It makes it a lot easier to load it.
This looks so nice. And so yeah, now we have, this is our filling is nice and hot. You're just gonna pour that right into your casserole dish and level it out a bit. So we'll spread this out. And this is just an ordinary 9x13 baking dish. Whatever you have works.
You ready for this?
I am. Okay, so we're just gonna make nice little stars just to make it pretty. You don't have to do this, mind you. This is not requirement. It just has a little bit of flair to it.
Yeah, you could very easily just spoon the mashed potatoes on top and draw a design with a fork. Or just leave it because it tastes exactly the same.
Right. That's what I usually do. Usually I'll just pour it on, smooth it out, and then take a fork and kind of do a little Zen garden kind of move.
But I'm rubbing off on her and she's getting extra too.
For the purposes of videos, you want to make them look really nice.
And she's got the skills, so.
So yeah. And you want the potatoes to go all the way to the edge. So I kind of, as you can see, outline the pan and then you'll work your way in. And you can put as much potato or as little potato as you want on there. And what this will do is when it's in the oven, these like little peaks here will crisp up so nicely and they'll be so nice and brown.
And it looks like stars. You'll see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, more. I'm just gonna hold it.
You're just gonna hold it?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hold it open very
It's
well.
fine.
But I like my teal cup.
It's fine.
Is it enough? You want a little more?
Yeah, should be good.
Excuse you.
Yeah, I had a little air in my bag. It happens.
New favorite fart euphemism.
Some air in my bag. Okay. So that's all. And you can go through, if you have extra mashed potatoes like we do, you can go through again and fill in the little spots that you might have missed. Or don't and just pick out on some mashed potatoes because that's awesome too.
So
So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. It's set at 400 for about a half an hour. You basically just want it until the potatoes get nice and brown.
all right. So thank you for joining us in the kitchen with Just Keep Rolling. I'm Ellen.
I'm Keighty.
As you can see here, we have this delicious meal we are about to dig into.
Heck
And
yes.
hopefully you make it for yourself and join us in eating something so tasty.
Yeah. Let us know if you do.
Yeah, please send us a message. You can reach us on Facebook at JKR Podcast or Instagram and Twitter at Just Keep Rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd like to see us make more of these videos, you can check out our Patreon page. It's justkeeprolling.patreon.com or patreon.com/justkeeprolling. We'll post all of those links up so that you can check it out.
You can also check out our podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify,
and Google Play.
and Google Play. There we go. I knew I was missing something. I'm distracted. I want food.
I know, it's time. And
I'm
I've
gonna serve
got
some
into
up.
the wine too, so yes, please serve us up.
And you see it's all steamy and lovely.
Looks really good. I'm taking a bite of yours. I can't wait.
What rude.
It's really hot.
I was gonna say,
I shouldn't have been impatient.
that's a you problem now.
It's really good though. That carrot was perfect.
That's the important thing.
Yep. All right, nicely done.
Well done.
See you next time.
And in the meantime, just keep rolling.
Thank you so much. No, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say first.
You want to cut again?
No, just keep rolling.
Okay.
Oh, you did the thing.
Whoa.
You did the thing.